This episode was brought to you by My Extraordinary Productions, now offering actor research services. So there's a reason why my channel is called My Extraordinary Life. When I was putting it together originally, I was doing a lot of extra work, and now you can learn how to have your own extraordinary life as well. So I am going to talk about extra work. Sometimes it's called background work. Sometimes you're called an extra or extra talent or background talent or atmosphere or atmospheric talent. There are a lot of names, but it's basically all the same thing. The people in the background who populate the environment. They don't really have any lines or anything, but they make the space feel more realistic. Let's talk about some of the pros of doing extra work. First of all, it's pretty easy money. You're essentially getting paid to hang out for 6 hours and legitimately work for 2. Even though you are a background talent, there's no background check. If you did something in the past that makes it really hard to pass a background check, this may be a way of earning a little bit of money. The reason there usually isn't a background check is because the job itself usually lasts a day or two at a time, so it doesn't make sense to invest that much time into researching everybody. And on top of that, if someone's having some sort of massive crew call where they need literally 200 people, doing background checks for 200 people takes a lot of time that they may not have. Another good thing is that you're on set. So if you're an actor or a filmmaker, you're getting paid to learn how the film set you want to work on works. Now, if someone's hiring extras, they're probably hiring several extras, which means you have a lot of people you can network with, and you can also network with some of the PAs. A lot of extras may be in a similar situation as you. They may want to also be actors one day, or they want to be filmmakers of some sort, and they're doing all sorts of things to try to bring those dreams into fruition. You can network with those people, you can do something with them later, you can get some advice about classes from them. They can be a really good resource. Another fun thing is just having bragging rights, being able to say, oh yeah, I was in that movie, I worked with Patrick Dempsey, great guy, super chill. There is free food, and it is often catered. Sometimes the job itself just is fun. There were a few days where I would have worked for free, but I got paid, so that's fine. Now, as much as I just hyped it up, it is a job like any other. No job is perfect. Here are some of the cons of extra work. The first con is that it's going to be a 12-hour day more often than it's not going to be a 12-hour day. Sets do honor overtime, and if you are a union extra, you can earn a thing called golden time, but usually if you've been somewhere for 16 or 17 hours, you don't want to be there anymore. On top of it being a 12-hour day, you may only work for a handful of hours, meaning you're going to be bored. And if you're working on location, there's no guarantee that there will be electricity or Wi-Fi or cell signal or anything, so you're going to have to find ways of entertaining yourself. You can talk to people in theory, but you can't spend your whole time there talking to people. First of all, you just may not have the energy, but second, the people in charge of sound need you to be quiet. Speaking of talking to people, a lot of sets can be hierarchical. They literally will have a rule saying, do not talk to the actors. If they initiate the conversation, you may respond, but you do not initiate that conversation. And same goes with the director. And it can seem extreme, but it's really a liability thing. And to be honest, it's not all sets. It's not even most sets. It's just enough of the time it's like that. Another thing about these conversations, people love to complain, which, okay, that includes me. But still, with some of these conversations, I really want to point out to these people things like, hey, I know you're not thrilled with craft services, but you know that if you worked in an office of some sort, you'd have to bring your own food to work, right? As an extra, you may not have a consistent work schedule, meaning you work once every 2 or 3 months or something. As an extra, you may also have an inconsistent work schedule, meaning you've got a night shoot, then a day shoot, then a night shoot again, and then you take a day off, and then you have another night shoot, and then a day shoot right after. If you like having a routine, you are gonna hate that. Reason number one is that films themselves, usually they try to be consistent, but sometimes they have to shoot a scene at night, and sometimes they have to shoot a scene in the morning. Another reason for this is that a production is supposed to have 12 hours between the end of day 1 and the start of day 2. So, if day 1 ends at 6 o'clock, they can start at 6 a.m. But if day 1 goes a little too long and it's now 8 o'clock, they have to start at 8 a.m. at the absolute earliest. A specifically actor reason to be wary of extra work is a thing called the extra work trap. People see you do extra work, and then they keep seeing you do extra work, and then they forget that you're also an actor because they only see you do extra work. To be fair though, that extra work trap happens in every other industry as well, so... Finally, and this is just a totally personal thing, I just feel this pang of guilt whenever I see an extra taking home a craft services pizza. You know, they're saying thank you, but is it thank you, now I don't have to cook tonight? Or is it thank you, now I don't have to go hungry? You know, there's a huge difference between the two. One question I used to ask was, why does it seem like some people work 5 times a week and some people work 5 times a year? My first conclusion is that anyone who does extra work every day or nearly every day is connected to the film or the industry somehow, and their connection is getting them all that work. Alternatively, they could be using a calling service of some sort, and basically they're paying someone to book all the work for them. Another reason is that some people are a part of 1 or 2 databases, and other people are a part of 10 plus databases. Another reason is that a lot of people like me can only do extra work during certain parts of the year, and it's really hard to build and maintain momentum when you're not always present. Finally, some people just have a more bookable look than others. If you want to get started in extra work, I highly recommend going over to Central Casting, Sandy Alisi Casting, or Jeff Olin Casting, and sign up. Alternatively, if you're an actor, you should subscribe to Actors Access and LA Casting anyway, and those 2 sites often post extra work notices. If you decide that you actually do enjoy doing extra work, you can get more extra work by signing up for a calling service such as Jessica's A-List or Extras Management. Every calling service has a different set of requirements though, so make sure you look those up before you sign up for anything. This is more for the men than the women because women have purses and they kind of already do this. At some point, you're going to want to go down the travel section of a store and get a comb, tissues, sunscreen. If you take medication, you may want a little pill container of some sort. You're trying to bring a bunch of things on set that'll make you comfortable. Also, there's always paperwork to fill out, so bring a pen. If you know you already have to bring 2 or 3 wardrobe options, and you know you're going to be outside and you know it's going to be cold, bring a jacket. I highly recommend bringing your cell phone, a charger of some sort of power bank and headphones, and load that thing up with all of the podcasts and all of the music and all of the everything you could possibly need. Some sets don't really like having electronics because they don't want to worry about things leaking out into the world, so bring quiet things to do as well that are not electronic. I've seen crochet and knitting, I've seen drawing, writing, storyboarding. I used to do my homework. There's all sorts of things you can do. Personally, I like having my own little to-do list or I'm bored list whenever I go on set. If you want to be really popular, bring a deck of cards. You never know who's doing what outside of this set. You never know where that next job is coming from. Be ready to network. Yes, some sets are more hierarchical, but some sets may be really, really relaxed, so you can talk to a few people you wouldn't ordinarily get to talk to. One thing you should not do on set is ask for a union voucher. Some people earn 3 union vouchers by doing extra work, and that grants them eligibility into SAG-AFTRA. So some of you may want to directly ask for one, but I don't recommend doing it, at least not out of nowhere. It's just really hard to justify giving someone a union voucher because he's super cool, or he's my friend, or we just have an extra one lying around. By the time you have arrived on set, those union spots that you could theoretically fill have probably already been filled. For you to be able to get a union voucher at that point, you have to be doing something that goes above and beyond, and then it would make sense to ask. So for example, if you and the PAs are getting along really well, and you were selected to do some sort of stunt, then you can say, hey, look, I've been selected for this stunt, it's a little extra, would it be possible to get a union voucher? Most sets have NDA agreements you have to look through, and most sets don't want you just posting pictures online. But if you have permission to take some pictures, take your pictures, have fun. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped 1 or 2 of you out. So leave a question below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on social media, and I will see you all next time.